How many technical people are here in the room so I can adjust my language? Oh. All right. Okay. Okay, so from idea to reality, but at least you're in blockchain, right? Yeah? We're right here? Okay, good. So, I mean, I want to talk about a little bit, a quick history of how we ended up here, not in this room, but specifically in this space. I mean, we saw a huge explosion of, things that happened in the last few years. And a lot of those are based on tokens, right? Tokens have been the kind of like the big thriver of the last few years that brought DeFi, NFTs, and everything we know. And you also probably know that ERC20 was the underlying kind of like initiator of that. This clicker, okay, here. So, click like this. Do I have to point specifically somewhere? Okay, let me switch my hands. All right, okay. The problem is our design and the UX in this space has barely changed. I mean, this is a fun one because this is literally 2017 to 2023 UI change of MetaMask, as we see. Not a lot has happened. I mean, there's better looking wallets there, no question. But it's kind of a little bit, exemplary to the space itself. And then when we look at the actual number of, blockchain users, then we think, oh yeah, this is a lot, right? Because we had $2 trillion market cap at the peak and probably again. Lots of people are using blockchain, everybody's talking about it. But the truth is, if you really cut it down, most of the people are on exchanges and they're just trading. And then most of these people have just custodian wallets. And there's only a few people, in fact 21 million that are using MetaMask. And that are like accounts. And many people can have many accounts. And then you can have the app statistics. And you can check like who are the actually apps and the protocols that are used and who's interacting with them. And then half of them are even bots. So on the end, you end up with pretty little people, right, using blockchain, like probably somewhere in that range. So this is the people who actually interact with smart contracts, interact with blockchain directly, right? So that's kind of where we are today. Is even we have all of this hype and everybody's talking about it, it's not really used, right? And why is that? We will figure that out, I guess. One thing is ERC20 kind of like paved the way. So what helped us bring adoption, or what helped us really do new use cases on a blockchain that can be programmed like Ethereum, it's standards, right? And the first standard, ERC20, that was proposed in 2015. And I built another thing in this space back in the day. I built the Mist browser. Whoever is like OG long enough here might know that this was the first Web3 browser, and it was kind of the first Ethereum wallet. That was in 2015. Whoever heard about the DAO, you needed to use the Mist browser to interact with the DAO. That was 2016. Okay, I feel old now here. In 2017, I proposed another standard, which is called ERC725. And that was an Ethereum account. It's a smart contract account idea. And that's 2017. That was, fun fact, like a week after the NFT standard, 721, or 2 weeks after or so. So this kind of put me on a journey over the last few years where we started a new network. Actually, it's an Ethereum twin with the purpose of bringing blockchain to the more mainstream audiences and to the non-technical people, making blockchain user-friendly and bringing it to the non-financial world, right? I mean, even though I created ERC20 and that kind of kicked off this whole DeFi, if we want everybody to use blockchain in some form or have decentralization in their life, we need this stuff beyond finance, right? We need to use it in the social space. So that was the idea and the vision of LUKSO, creating a blockchain for the creator economy, for social and culture. The most important thing, obviously, to make this happen is you need to have a better foundation. So we started this network 1 year ago. It actually is today, fun fact, is the anniversary of this network. And it's having around 150,000 validators running it. live, it's an EVM, obviously, it's exactly like Ethereum. It's the only network that works the same way like Ethereum on a consensus level. Beyond Gnosis, which is very similar to Ethereum, but has slight modifications. It's a chain that's running, it has actually by now 150,000 validators running it. It's decentralized, it has been started decentralized, and it has ES75 as its core. I will get to that. But the uniqueness of the network and the uniqueness of LUKSO and the reason of why we even did that in the first place is because if we want to have an actual future, better UX on blockchain, we need to work on the standards. We need to work at the foundations. And when you look at every EVM chain out there, and pretty much even the non-VM chains as well, everybody just took the same network effect that ERC20 created and it just did the same thing over again, right? They just took ERC20 pretty much the same, or they call it TRC20 or BRC20 or whatever, right? And then you have the same old copy and paste it to other networks. So there is barely any innovation on the foundational levels. So that's what we took to do the last 5 years before we started the network last year, is to build out the foundations. And we call them the LUKSO Standards Proposals, or LSPs. And the benefit of a new network is that you can propose those new foundations, and people who build on that network will happily go along and use those new standards because there is no network effect, there is no existing infrastructure, and there is no existing tools that you need to be compatible with, otherwise you're the outlier in this network. So hence, that gives us the opportunity to do things right and to think things through. So with ERC20, what happened is we basically just made it up as we went. People wanted to make tokens. Vitalik made a draft. We discussed this idea. ERC20 came out of it as a proposal standard that we all agreed on. People made tokens, right? And from there, everything just ran that way. There was no adjustment really. And when there was proposal and improvement changes, I mean, you know how it is with the standardization in Ethereum. If you have followed that, there's 2,000 or something plus standard proposals, and even like the slightest changes take forever to adopt. Because the network effect is like a massive cruise ship, right? You turn that, it takes very, very long to turn that ship. Hence, why you need to start from scratch, and if you have less cooks on the soup, you can also cook something good, and it's not like an endless debate. So that's what we did here, and we did this actually for a long time to make sure we have the right foundations. And the most important foundation of this is a lot of standards that combine together into something, oh my God, sorry, this clicker is annoying, into something that is called a universal profile. And the missing piece that we had so far in the blockchain space is the smart contract account. I mean, now people start to talk about account abstraction and smart contract accounts, and all of this stuff is starting to become a thing. We developed it like pretty much from 2017 on. So there's a few years in the making of making this happen. So luckily, we are here now. It's all out and it's running and it's live. So on LUKSO, you basically get to have a profile as your wallet. So, and that's not just a custom one thing profile that can have a profile picture and do transactions. It's a foundational building block that can do pretty much anything, can hold any arbitrary information, and it's a very foundational piece to blockchain in general. And as LUKSO is an EVM chain, that standard is obviously valid and working on every other EVM chain as well. We improved not only the token standard, the profile and smart contract account, but we also improved the token standards. We made everything work holistically. So that's the benefit when you start from scratch and you can actually think things through. You can create a holistic system that works together. And I want to run you quickly through the features or the properties of such a smart contract account and what should a smart contract account have in the first place. And what it needs the ability to hold information. And I'm not talking just about a profile picture and a name, right? But any information. Because if you want to have a smart contract account, that should be still like, making sense in 5 years down the road. So we have a generic key value store that allows you to attach any smart contract readable information. And anybody can come up with something and ask the user to add this information to his profile. So you can literally attach unlimited amount of data and reference whatever protocol idea you can have. it can react on anything incoming. It has a way that it can react, and it can delegate this to an external contract that you can even update, meaning that now you can build any protocol that can basically extend your profile and make your profile function automatically whenever a token comes in or whatever, maybe a handshake or following request comes in or whatever people want to build in the future. It can be controlled, and that's very important. It can be controlled by any smart contract or EUA address. So now we can build a UX where it's not anymore about, oh, my private key, and I have to seed phrase this down, and I have to make sure I'm not losing it. You can now use any idea that you can build in a smart contract or a standard EUA, and control your profile. And on top of this, you can actually add permissions. So you can restrict what different devices that hold different keys that control your profile can or cannot do. That gives you a very, very generic way to control your profile, but it also gives you the ability to add recovery, social recovery or backup, or you can even have a time lock system or like a password trace recovery or a DAO that recovers people's profile. You could literally build whatever you want. We have built a basic social recovery standard, and you can obviously add any external EOA like MetaMask, Ledger, or whatever to your profile as a recovery. Permissions I talked about, I won't go into detail. Time's running out. You can sign in with Ethereum. That's using the 1271 standard, really useful. And we have gasless transactions because you can have a transaction relay service, a third party that is able to send transactions on your behalf as long as they're signed by one of your keys. Your key manager will allow it and your profile will do things. So now we can have a very simplified version of gasless transaction. And you can even add 4337 support, the Ethereum gasless transaction standard as well, even though that is simpler. And that's something that you get on LUKSO out of the box, which then in turn makes everything on-chain social. So LUKSO is a social chain by default because everybody on LUKSO creates a profile, and we have 18,000 of them so far. And this is live since around 5 months, 6 months. Everybody is social because every account that interacts is actually a profile. That changes everything, right? Because now you can do DAOs and network states and voting, Sybil resistance if you want to, because you have transparency in history and verifiability. You can literally look in the Block Explorer and see who's doing things. So we are now merging the off-chain world, the social world, right, and the on-chain world into the same thing. Hence why LUKSO is the first blockchain really truly built for social, and culture, because it has profiles at its core. There's marketplace, obviously people making NFTs, guess what, that's what people do right now. You can even have your little kind of MySpace version, of your profile. You can there's a thing called Universal Page. That's the marketplace, but it's also a page builder where you can customize your on-chain profile and give it a nice little page. We even have when you create a universal profile, you automatically have a profile link, which is profile.link/your name, and you have a unique URL. And what happened is a common ground. I don't know who heard about it. It's kind of like Discord for Web3. It's a chat application. People can make calls and so on. They integrated universal profile, so you can log in with a universal profile. And since then, the LUKSO community overtook pretty much common ground, and most of the communities are now, LUKSO communities in some form, either NFTs. Meme coins are going crazy right now. Lots of memes about my name. Yeah, people do a lot of stuff. So it's basically, in essence, Ethereum with the right, better done foundation, because we had the time to do it right. I mean, I've been part of the first version of it, right? And we took 5 years to do it the right way. And that means now the things you can build on LUKSO, because you have universal profiles, because you have new and better flexible token standards, you can build now protocols that are unthinkable on top of wallets as we know them, right? So decentralized social, as you probably have maybe heard already, will be the next wave, very likely, and universal profile at the core of this. So hence, LUKSO is the place you want to build if you want to build something in the decentralized social space.
questions? Any question, remarks? I'm loud. Can I borrow your mic? There's another one. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Thomas. Thanks for the presentation. I was wondering whether I need LUKSO token or the currency to actually interact on the chain. Of course I need it, but when I see the UX, do I can use a euro or do I really need a LUKSO token? I need a LUKSO token, of course, but if I have the app, I want to see euro and not necessarily LUKSO. LUKSO is on the back, it's running on everything, but when I pay something, I want to see it in euro or in US dollar.
I mean, first, like, you don't need Lux to interact on the LUKSO blockchain because there is a transaction relay service that allows you to create a profile, and it actually pays for your gas right now. It's subsidized. Eventually, people have to pay for the transaction fees themselves, and they probably do this through, if they do it through a transaction relay service, they have a subscription, you know, like you have a subscription for your mobile phone provider. You can always choose to buy your own Lux and pay for your own transaction fees. That's the old way is always possible, obviously. But I mean, it's a social chain, right? So the token and the price shouldn't matter much, you know? It shouldn't be about I mean, obviously, a decentralized network needs a token. That's the way it secures itself, right? That's not going away. But you can abstract it away because of a smart contract account. When you have a smart contract account, then you can have any rules of how transactions are approved. And in our case, our transaction relay service is able to send them, and your key manager on your profile is able to verify them. Hence, the token and all this kind of aspect kind of fades away. I mean, obviously, if people do things on the chain, they interact with whatever things they interact with, you know, be it Lux or be it other tokens or NFTs. Yeah, if you want to buy something, I mean, it depends on the marketplace, what they accept, I guess. But yeah, the transaction fee, the gas thing actually kind of goes away, and we abstracted this in this nice little bar that you saw before, right? You get a quota, and it says, okay, you need for this transaction 100,000 gas out of your 20 million you have per month. So that's how people will learn, okay, you know, I mean, per month I have enough gas that I can do a lot of things. In the future, probably buy a Pro tier and they have more. Or they just buy their own Lux and pay themselves. Same like people don't understand what gigabyte is and how many 10 gigabytes really are for your mobile phone, but I kind of learned over time that I guess 10 is enough for most people. If you're a pro user, a heavy, you know, Instagram scroller, then maybe you need like 30, you know. And same here, you know. People will basically learn what gas means as not as that I understand it, but as a unit of you know, of a measurement of some sort. So yes, you can abstract it away. Gas is kind of like, or Lux is not necessary to be understood directly, really.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's your applause.